Largest
Right.
would be up to 3 TB.
Okay.
Smallest smallest can be of any size. A simple text file as well.
Okay. All right. Let's check the answer. Minimum size is 0 byte and maximum is 5 terabytes. This is what a file size can be that we can upload into an S3 bucket. All right, let's move on to the next one. What are the available API calls for managing an S3 bucket? We have 4 API calls we'll try to touch upon in today's class. We did not go in detail with this particular topic. We have 4 APIs. We have put, get, list, and delete. These are all the API calls that we can call while uploading or managing the S3 bucket.
REST APIs?
That's different.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Here we go. We have the third one. Name the types of storage classes available in S3.
Glacier, Snowball, Snowmobile, One Zone IA.
Okay. All right. Here we go. We have S3 standard. This is the default storage class. If you do not select any storage class while uploading objects into the S3 bucket, this is the storage class that will be selected. Further, we have S3 standard IEA, stands for infrequent access, S3 intelligent tiering, S3 one zone intelligent tiering, S3 Glacier, and S3 Glacier deep archive. All right, good attempt. We'll move on to the next one. So what is the largest individual archive size that S3 Glacier will allow you to store?
$80 TB.
Anybody else? Okay, it's 40 terabytes. S3 Glacier stores data as an archive file. It is not like object files what we store. In S3 Glacier, the files will be stored as an archive. A single file or a collection of files can be included in an archive. It could be one single file, or that one single file can have many files included. So while the maximum size of an individual archive is 40 terabytes, and the total amount of data that you can store in S3 Glacier is unrestricted. What does that mean? As you keep uploading the data, the size will be keep increasing, the S3 Glacier size. All right, let's move on to the next one. Which statement about Amazon Glacier are true? You need to choose any two here. There are 2 correct answers. We have Amazon Glacier stores data as objects. Amazon Glacier archives are identified by user-specified key names. Amazon Glacier archives takes 3 to 5 hours to restore the data. And the last one is Amazon Glacier vaults can be locked.
B and D.
I'm sorry?
B and D.
B and D. All right. Anyone else?
A and C.
A and C. All right. I can give you a hint. Among 2 answers, each one gave 1 correct answer. So would you like to change your answer? A, it cannot be because Amazon Glacier will not store data as objects, right? We just discussed. It will store data as archives. So it cannot be A.
Then B and D.
Okay. Why not C?
It will not take that much time, 3 to 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, we'll check. The answer is C and D. Amazon Glacier stores data in archives. There is one, and these archives are identified by system-created archive IDs, not by names. The answer is not B, and definitely it takes 3 to 5 hours because that is the lowest pricing model, right? Amazon Glacier as well as Glacier Deep Archive. Definitely it takes much longer time to restore the data. The answer is C and D. Good attempt. Let's move on to the next one. See, this is a typical exam question that has been picked up. Going forward, you will see more of direct exam questions. A company is using a centralized AWS account to store log data in various Amazon S3 buckets. As a solution architect, you are responsible for making sure that the data is encrypted before it is uploaded to S3 bucket and while it is in transit. So which approach satisfies these criteria? You need to select any one correct answer. We have 4 answers to go with, 4 options to choose.
I think it is either C or D.
C or D. Okay. All right. You are so very, very close. Yes, the answer is between C and D. All right. The answer is C. First, you need to create a bucket policy that requires to use server-side encryption keys. That is, encryption type is SSE S3 to encrypt the data before uploading to S3 in order to safeguard the data while it is in transit. If you choose this particular option, your data will be encrypted as well as the data will be safe while it is getting copied into the S3 bucket. All right, good attempt. Let's move on to the next one. This is also an exam-based question. So this is how the questions will be. The question will be so big enough, it takes a lot of time for you to read and understand. A company's web application resizes uploaded images when user requests for it. The application uses Amazon S3 to store both the original and resized images. So original images are accessed frequently and the resized images are viewed infrequently. So as a solution architect, which combination of actions you will choose to meet the most cost effective? So you need to pick 2 answers here. Store the original image in S3 standard, store the resized images in S3 standard. The third one is store the original and resized images in S3 Glacier. The last option is store the resized images in S3 standard IA.
A and D.
A and D. All right. Anyone else? Yes, that's precisely correct. The answer is A and D. Store the original image in S3 standard and store the resized images in S3 standard IA. So any object that you stored in S3 standard, this is the default class. You'll be able to access it immediately. And of course, even in standard IA also, you can access it immediately, but there is a pricing difference. So because S3 standard IA infrequent access that will be stored in a different server as well as in a different class, so that the user gets a benefit on the pricing. That's good. Let's move on to the next one. What are the types of storage volumes available in EC2 instance? So when we create a EC2 instance virtual machine, there are two types of volumes that can be attached. I'll be more than happy if you could answer, if you could give at least one name, the storage name. What is the default hard disk storage that gets added to your virtual machine? The 30 GB in Windows environment, 8 GB in Linux virtual machine. What is that volume called? Storage type.
EBS and instant storage.
That's correct. That's correct. Okay, we have two types of volumes. One is instance store volume. It is a temporary block level storage for EC2 instances that are physically attached to the host computer as a root volume. This particular volume we did not explore so far because this volume type is not available for each and every EC2 instance. It is available only for high-end virtual machines, the larger virtual machine capacity, C1, C2, those family type. We had come across the EBS volume. It is the block level storage designed for EC2 instances, and this is the default storage volume that gets attached. That's good attempt. We'll move on to the next one. Can you retrieve deleted S3 bucket objects?
Yes, we can, but we can attach it attached to another instance.
Anybody else?
Versioning is enabled.
I'm sorry.
If versioning is enabled, I think we can retrieve when we can.
Okay, correct. All right. Let's move on to the answer, and I will give you the clarification as well. You cannot retrieve the deleted objects if versioning is enabled at the bucket level. A copy of the deleted object is still available. Thereby, you will have the copy of the object that you already deleted. The first answer, the gentleman who gave, maybe he got confused with attaching the EBS, elastic block storage, to one virtual machine, removing, detaching that volume and attaching to another virtual machine. We are not talking about EBS, elastic block storage. We are referring to here the S3 buckets. All right. So the answer is you cannot retrieve the deleted objects. So if the versioning is enabled, the same copy of the file is uploaded one more time, maybe multiple times. The different versions or the frequent changes, whatever has been made to that particular object file, all those files will be available. So thereby, you can still have a backup copy of that file. That's good attempt. Let's move on to the next one. So which storage class does S3 use by default?
Standard.
That's correct. That's correct. Precisely right. So S3 standard is the default storage class that will be chosen while the S3 is used if no other class is selected. All right. Thank you so much for your participation. We will have a lot more questions in the upcoming sessions. So we will move on to the today's agenda.